Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be introducing you to a semi-new deck. Not exactly new for me, but new for you guys. I'm going to be introducing you to my branded Despia deck. And, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here we have, this is fairly budget. We have the main, extra, and side decks. We will be getting into these two later on. But for now, let's get into the main deck. Alright. For starters, we got free Fallen Valvaus. This is your main component to the deck. Without this card, it would be completely pointless to even run this deck. Like, absolutely pointless. Next up, we have Albion the Shredded Dragon. This card can dump your Retribution, which we will get into later, and can give you an extra draw or reset your hand a bit. Next up, we have two Cartesia. These are excellent for the deck list. By summoning one, and you can fuse during your main phase, or your opponent's for that matter. And they are excellent fusion material for your Albion or your Grand Guignol. Of course, this is budget, so I don't have Grand Guignol. Next up, we have one Mercurier, one Kit, one Golden Sword Soul. This one is basic for milling, and you can banish it off, and you can use it to fuse off of one of your many fusion cards. This can negate an attack and special summon. And this is your standard adding card. Next up, we have a playset of Albert. This card allows you to add any branded spell or trap from your deck to the hand. And on summon. Of course, this one's per turn. But it is ideal for the deck. Normal summon one, add Fallen Valvaus. Like, it is beautiful for this deck. Next up, we have Tragedy and Dramaturge. This allows it to be special summoned once uses fusion material, and when a monster is fusion ores, fusion synchroxies, or linked, most ideally fusion, you can target and negate a monster's effects on board. And this card right here allows you to add one of your despia monsters from your deck to the hand. They are both pretty ideal. Alright, next up we have Dogmatic Engine. We got Maximus and Nadir Servant. These two are ideal for your main combo. Summon this, you can mill any two from your extra deck. Any two. For example, main example, mill your Albion, and the Branded Dragon, and your Tinkerled the Ash Dragon. It is pretty good. And this is to add this or a Fallen Valvaus from your deck to the hand. Most often, dumping Agara. Alright, next up, we have the Bestials. This deck, we have Magma Hut, Rebellion, Sorinir, and Druisrum. These two are mainly ideal. These two are just to banish your opponent's stuff, or your Mercurier from your graveyard. Ideally, you ought to use this to place any of your continuous spells, and stick with it like that. Alright, next up, we have two alt fusions. We have Gimmick Puppet Nightmare and Dark Magician. This is to revive using your Sanctifier Dragon to your opponent's side of the board, and stop them for special summoning anything but Gimmick Puppets for that turn. And this here is to fusion summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. It is pretty good. Alright, next up we have the Hand Traps. This deck runs a good few of them main. We have one Nib, one Ghost Bell, one Veiler, and two Ashes. Now, if you want you could play free of any of these, but I'm sticking with these numbers because I've been recommended that I keep them to the minimum so I don't draw into them as often and I get mainly engine. For those beginners who want to start on branded, engine is the main combo of the deck. Alright, moving on to the spells or traps. We got free branded fusion and 2 opening. This is your ideal fusion, and this is to make it easier to get out your adding card. Plus, it can protect your fusion monsters from destruction once per turn. Once by banishing itself by the grave. Next up, we have 1 regained, 1 lost, and 1 in red. This is to refuse, as in recycle your fusion materials. This is to recycle your banished cards, and this is to add your main fusion material. I will go into a short combo in a later video, but for now, sticking with this. Alright, next up we have the funny spells. 1 fusion deployment, 2 poly, and 1 super poly. This is to fuse away your opponent's stuff. These 2 here are standard fusion, and this here is to special out your Fallen Valbas, or if you have Granguignol, your Cartesia. Now, just heads up, this deck list will change in due time, so you will not see me playing this deck list. We got 1 Call By, 1 Foolish, and 1 Talent. I would add in Frost, but don't have any. It is a really expensive card. Call By allows you to banish your opponent's negates. Foolish, send your Nightmare from your deck to the grave. And Talent to retaliate if they ash. It's a pretty one. Luxury rare. Right now for the traps. We have 1 red, 1 branded sword, and 1 imperm. Again, I would have more imperm, but don't have them. These 3 are the main ones in this deck. This is to add. This is to add a branded spell or trap. This is to add back a monster, and this is negate. Probably have to play more of this. Alright, on to the fusion monsters. We have 1 Mirror Jade and 2 Albion. Feel free to shift around with the X deck as much as you want. This is just what I have on me at the moment and am playing at the moment. We have 1 Mirror Jade for banishing your opponent's stuff. 2 Albion. 1 fusion summon, 1 send to grave. There are so many combos you can do with 1 of these, let alone 2. Next up, we have 1 Abelentinus, 1 Albion, 1 Lubellion. We can go off of these a bit more into Rindbrum and Tinglad, the Ash Dragon. This is your standard mill, as well as this. This or this. This, if your opponent's playing something like 10 Pie Dragons, or anything dragon related, like even a mirror match, like this is good. This is especially good if you want to go into the Nightmare Lock. This is excellent for fusing. This is just there. This is just good. And this is a negate for a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster, and a returnal. Not destruction or a target, just returns. Alright, next up we have the 2 Despia monsters, Masquerade and Quaterus. This is better known as Tax Dragon. You see, whenever you activate a card or effect, you have to pay 600. Like, this is just that good. And Quaterus. Quaterus here is not one for summoning, but with it, you can send all of the... You can return all of the monsters on the field's attack that's above... that have a level above 8 and is a fusion monster, right down to 0. And if it leaves the field due to an opponent's card effect, you can instantly summon out a Despia monster or one of your Fallen Valbas from your deck. so it can instantly give you a super poly. Next up, we have Dragoon. This is just, there's no doubt why. Like, this is a staple. It is beautiful. We also got Garura for dumping off of Nadir Servant. We got Mudragon. This is the ideal super poly target. And Chimera for polymerization. And it also is a great board breaker. And Dragostaplia. May not be as good as a super poly target, but is a monster effect negate. And that is pretty damn good. Alright, on to the side deck. Starters, we have Beast. This one you can swap out with anything really. Like, this is just here for, like, I didn't feel like playing it, just overall. We got Future Fusion, when you want to fusion summon, but not now. Yeah, it's decent. We also got Ash. Third Ash in the extra deck, side deck, because we do now want to stick at 2. Mirror Force. For all those pesky Tenpai dragons. Ghost Sister for all those duels who like special summoning all way too much. Cough, cough, heroes, cough. Synchrons. 2 Grimace Seals, because we want to tribute away those opponent's monsters. 1 Evenly. This is because I don't like Evenly. Like, you can add more Evenly if you want. I'm sticking out 1 for myself. We got 1 Ghost Bell on the side because we do not want to open too many hand traps. Draw. Just there. It's just there. Like, do we want the opponent to be drawing more? No. No, we do not. Got 2 D-Barrier side. For you're playing against, like, anything with any alternative summon mentioned on the card. Pendulum, Fusion, Ritual, Synchro, and Xyz. Unfortunately, no Link. It's real depressing. This is really good against those. And a lot of people aren't playing that many Links anyway. Second Super Poly. Just there's so many reasons why. Like, we don't want to have 2 Super Polys. And last but not least, Chimera and Lula Wallif. This is to easily get out your Cartesia, and this is just instant fodder. And that is the deck list. Feel free to make any chops and changes. And again, this deck will not stay. This deck will be changed. So do not expect me to be playing this deck at locals. And with that, have a good day.